and welcome back to DML REBIRTH! So, at the time of this recording happening, of course we were still in the original first week of Special Divine Dungeon. And these dungeon chests and tickets in general, you know, super good to get as a lower level or sort of a mid-level player, just because of the sheer amount of gold and stuff that you used to get out of them. And plus you can get lots of new dragons, and lots of new dragons are really good for getting dragon collector points, which is the reason why I think new players do benefit a hell of a lot from new events. And there is the Lilac Horn Dragon unlocked, for example. So that is a dragon with the Void element that we can hatch on our islands and level it up and take it a little bit closer to a higher DCP level, unlock more elements, you know, fun stuff. And a 20 piece for epics, also really good for newer players. But just opening up these divine chests in general, ooh, 10 pieces for a legendary as well, not bad. But again, it's like new dragons, cool, all of this stuff, cool, but the main thing is you can get things like Dragon Fury Essence, you can get things like gold and food, and they're the main things that I want. But at this point, you know, I don't have a single 3-element dragon, and while it would be great to, you know, have something like a Lilac Horn, I feel like it may actually be a good idea to hatch the Prairie Dragon, because we currently have, I believe, a Harpy Dragon breeding in the breeding den, but having a Prairie Dragon would certainly make it easier on the map in the short-term future, because 3 elements is, of course, better than 2 elements. Who would have thought it, right? Even if it's the same repeated set of 3 elements on a dragon, it's better than only having a dragon with 2 elements. So, I think that is what we're going to end up doing. So after a short time skip, we're back, and indeed, I have hatched the Prairie Dragon, because it got a very, very short hatching time, actually. Which is why, if you connect your game to Facebook, like, within the first 5 minutes of joining the game, you can have a Prairie Dragon immediately. But by us hatching that Prairie Dragon, we get the plant element unlocked. That's going to unlock a lot of cool dragons for us. And plant is, it used to be arguably one of the best elements in the game. I still think plant is extremely good. It's just when you get sigils in that unlocked, plant becomes a lot weaker without things like witchcraft. Because damage over time attacks did get sort of destroyed just by the ridiculous amount of health that all the enemy dragons have. But either way, there we go. We have our plant dragon egg. We have a plant habitat. In fact, I might pop a couple of them down just in case, you know, we get a lot of plant dragons. And we should also really get a plant temple really soon as well. But we'll do that whenever. But for now, of course, we have our Prairie Dragon. He does have 3 elements, like I said. Realistically, it would be much better if he was an actual epic, because again, rares have lower base stats than epics do, but he is really, really, really good for super early game that we are still in, obviously. So, upgrading his attacks as soon as possible, that is going to help us out majorly in the map. Rather than leveling up any of our 2-element dragons, I'd rather just focus on leveling up Prairie from this point. You know, having a 3-element dragon at level 19 is, you know, it's sort of important, so that's why I'm doing this now. So I went and did some boring, tedious fights, and now we are level 20. And this is a pretty important level because we can awaken legendary dragons' elements now, and we have unlocked sigils. And I was just talking about sigils and the fact that some elements end up getting weaker as a result of all the bonus HP, but sigils are fantastic for map progression. Because when you equip sigils, you do actually gain bonus dragon collector points, which is fantastic. But, of course, sigils give you bonuses to your HP, and if you have the right combination of sigils, they can make your attacks super, super crazy strong. So, we're going to go against some enemies that have sigils here, and for the first, you know, map or so, it doesn't really matter what sigils you have, but unlocking premium sigil chests, of course, is going to give much better grade sigils than opening the common chests that we have. So getting premium sigil chests from things like, you know, the dungeon and other milestones like in the Dragon Master Pass is going to be really handy. Right now, it doesn't matter too much which sigils we're putting on our dragons because we just don't have that many sigils. But, you know, think about it this way. If you've got a fire dragon, might be worth putting a havoc on it. If you've got a plant dragon, might be worth throwing a witchcraft on it. You know, in general, it doesn't matter when you've only got really terrible base common sigils, but you might as well put something useful on there, right? And plus, with sigils, you might want to put on sigils that give you a bonus. So, in this instance, I've put on 4 of the shelters, so that we get the shelter synergy on our team. Because, again, if you've got some really awful sigils that don't give you much benefit, you might as well get the shelter bonus, or the power bonus, or any of the other bonuses, because, you know, you can't really pick a player for having bad sigils when their sigil choice is garbage. But, you know, when you start unlocking more uncommon sigils, and then when you get onto rare sigils, the combos that you have on your dragons are really important. And plus, when you get to rare sigils, you're going to be trying to complete stages on the sigil campaign map, and the enemies will start to get epic sigils. So, even as a lower level player, you don't have to worry about it immediately, but it is definitely something to keep in mind. So, some of the best sigil combinations, it does depend on where you're using your dragons. For example, if you had 6 max level dragons, you might have 3 dragons that are designed for map progression, and you might have 3 dragons that are designed for the dungeon. Of course, I'm talking in a theoretical world where all of your dragons are max level, max enchanted, blah blah blah. But at that stage, for example, if you're trying to progress on the map, a really, really good sigil combo is Purity plus Daredevil, because it just does so much damage that you can almost one-shot any enemy. If you also don't have anything like Purity, but you have Cruelty, Cruelty can also be really good for progressing on the map, because if you just attack enough times, you're going to end up getting a crit hit that's going to go straight through their shields, and sometimes that will help you clear the map, but you'll see that later on. But a really good combo for the dungeon, because really good elements in the dungeon include elements like water, earth, and metal in particular. Obviously, wind can help as well. You can reduce their attack, but water, earth, and metal are arguably some of the best elements for the dungeon. And so the sigils that you put on also make them extremely good. So acceptance is a really important one. So acceptance plus wonder, because wonder buffs attacks. And then if you put acceptance, which means that you get bonuses to any healing that you receive, any shields that you receive, any divine blessing that you receive. So wonder acceptance. So you have a dragon that has wonder, and then it puts an effect on a dragon that has acceptance, you're going to have like a super powered shield. And that also works with the metal element. So essentially you put metal on a different dragon with the wonder and acceptance combo, and then that metal gains like trillions, legitimately trillions of damage. So then you don't even have to attack the enemies attack you. And this is something to keep in mind for the metal element, because back in the day in DML, like 3 to 4 years ago, metal used to be pretty underwhelming. Don't get me wrong, in specific teams it had its place, but it was just better to go and one-shot your opponents instead. But with sigil combos, metal and void are a hell of a lot better these days. And I think a lot of people will actually find that in a lot of scenarios they're better than the old school combos that we used to deal with, which was, you know, just super high damage plant and shadow. But that's why you got to keep up with things, you know. The game does evolve, the game gets constant updates, you got to grow with the game. If you don't grow with the game's going to leave without you, and you're going to end up wondering why you're having such a horrible time. But the general idea is, be mindful of the sigils that you're putting on your dragons, and especially be mindful of having 6 unique elements minimum, absolute minimum on a team, but ideally you want 9 unique elements on a team. So that's why the ultimate combo of dragons is a legendary, a divine, and an ancient at the moment. But that's not always necessarily going to be the case for newer players. Because, like, I can't upgrade a legendary dragon right now because I don't have all of the things unlocked. But we do have enchantment here because we leveled up our prairie to level 16. So we get our free enchantment on him, which is fantastic. Getting free enchantment on a 3-element dragon that's what you want. Obviously, if that was a legendary that had full upgrades, that would be the super perfect world, basically. But we don't have that unlocked, and we don't have any legendaries available. I mean, this is literally day 1 of me playing the game still. So, imagine having a bunch of legendaries and divines day 1, like, hatched and just ready to go. Yeah, if only. But, enchantment, we're going to do as many fights as we possibly can, but that's probably going to end up being 1 fight every 2.5-ish hours. We'll see. We'll see. But now we've got 2 dragons that are enchanted, and it's asking us to put defenders into our towers. So whatever, I'm just going to do whatever the game tells me for now, but I'm definitely going to replace those defenders in a minute. Because in the Enchantment League, you'll start power leveling by accident sometimes, and that will screw you over massively. Because realistically, if you don't have high-level dragons, you don't want to have a lot of trophies. And that's because you'll go against enemies that are going to just destroy you. You'll end up running into enemies that have like level 35 dragons when I'm at this stage in the game, and we're not going to win anything. So that's why D-ranking in the arenas, not in arena, enchantment battles, is really important. Now, this fight here, for example, a level 16 smoke dragon, I'm pretty sure we can't actually win this fight if there's more than 1 dragon. But, you know, the game's asking us to do it. So let's go and fight this ant dragon here. How's it gonna go? And thank goodness, please, let me turn off 1x speed, because this is making me feel a little bit ill. Out of everything in DML, one of the major tips is definitely put everything on 2x speed. You don't need to see every animation, it doesn't help. And plus, it's not like the game moves or changes until you input a button, so, yeah, definitely take advantage of 2x speed. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just had to watch that in 1x speed. Ugh, bleh. Disgusting, and that's a lot of shadow. At this point, I kind of wish I'd be getting, like, more water and more earth and that sort of thing, but I guess we'll have to take the shadow for now. But either way, we'll do that, and we're taking the tutorial cauldron, which gives us 2 rares, which is not how that normally goes. And now they have refreshed our 2 dragons here, so let's throw some shields and stuff in our potions, let's battle. And now they're going to talk us through how potions work. So, thing is with potions, you're going to get the free cauldron whenever it's available. And a lot of the times it'll just give you a common potion that is like normally a shielding potion, which means that you can normally defeat dragons that are like 1 or 2 levels below you with just a singular dragon. But in general, you don't want to be using higher tier potions because you really don't need to use them. Like here they've given me a bunch of legendary potions and epic potions, but I really don't need them. We don't really have much of a use for them. And if you ever want to go for the sumo dragon in the Enchantment League, you're gonna wish that you had those legendary potions available. So rather than wasting the legendaries, I'd rather replace them with Final Vengeance potions, which are uncommons, some rares, and ideally commons and uncommons, really. Because again, it's not worth wasting such high tier potions at this point. Yeah, you can get a few battles done here and there, but the rewards that you get for every chest at such a low rank, they don't actually give you that much anyway. So, I'm not going to be wasting my good potions yet. I will if I get super desperate, but I'm going to use that to get sumo at a different point instead. And I think that's going to be worth infinite more value than getting a bonus 6 plant enchantment materials. Like, I could get that if I wanted to open up some of those purple chests, so it's not something I'm too worried about. So, now that we're getting 3 element dragons as well, we've got to be really mindful of the temples that we've got going. So, obviously, it's a better idea to have a bunch of 3 element dragons that you level up for temples instead of 1 or 2 element dragons. So, ideally, just get a bunch of epics and level those up instead of, like, leveling up a bee dragon or a dust dragon, which is what I've done. But, again, this is assuming that you're still on day 1 of playing DML. You've been playing the game for, like, less than, sort of, 8 hours. I've been forced. My hand is forced when you don't have a lot of time to wait for breeding and hatching timers. You sort of get forced into lower tier dragons. But if you're not at that stage, then it's usually better to wait for a dragon with more elements. So, I think the problem with a lot of newer players is the fact that, you know, changing your main dragons and reinvesting into a new one obviously costs a lot of resources. And when you already have a dragon that's enchanted, it feels like that dragon's really strong. But any dragon that you'd enchant would end up feeling a lot stronger with a +2 level lead, because every enchantment star is worth 2 levels. So, say you've got 3 dragons that are all the same level, but then one of them has an enchantment star, or maybe even 3. And then you'd be inclined to think, whoa, this dragon's so strong now, this is so good, I'm not going to swap up of this dragon. And it ends up that you end up using a ceremony dragon until level 60. And that's not what you want to be doing, but it's something that I see newer players do all the time. You know, you'll reach a point when you're progressing on the map where you earn so much food that you'll be able to swap your main team members 6, 7, or 8 times. And you don't want to be swapping your team members too much, but in my situation right now, for example, look at our team. We have a bee dragon with fire and wind, we have a prairie dragon with fire, wind, and earth, and we have a dust dragon with wind and earth. So we only actually have 3 unique elements, which means that during castle events and special tier events, we would be screwed. Because they restrict the elements that you can use, and if we ran into a fight where we could only use the water element, we wouldn't even be able to do the fight. So, what we need to do is we need to find 2 more dragons that have unique elements. So, ideally, I really want a water dragon. I would like to potentially keep Harpy when that gets unlocked. But having 9 unique elements when you have access to epics is so important, because it will help you out a ton during events. But that's something where we will keep thinking about it, and based on the dragons that we unlock, we'll decide what we're going to do then. It's just right now, in the very early game short term, where, you know, the amount of food that you have to spend is basically nothing. But then when your dragons start getting to around 25-ish to 30-ish, the amount of food that it starts to cost to feed dragons gets exceptionally higher. Like, it is ridiculous, the difference between leveling a dragon to 20, between leveling a dragon to 30, and then to 40. It's like every 10 levels, you'd think it was crazy, the amount of food requirement when you first start playing. But that's why around the level 20 to 25 mark, it's not too bad. Using any dragons, just progressing on the map. Progressing on the map is just down to the level of your dragons primarily. Sigils will help a ton, enchantment stars are going to help, but don't technically need 3 element dragons immediately. But the reason you have to think about it is because you're going to start to struggle towards the sort of final 2 islands on the map. So here we are, now up to Crankster, who's level 19, which is 1 level below my dragons, and usually boss dragons being the same level as your dragons usually means you're going to get, like, decimated. But as long as you don't get one shot, if you've got 3 dragons up in a boss fight, usually you're going to be fine. It's just when you start getting to some of the other bosses that have multi-target attacks like energy, fire, yeah, it can get a little bit dicey. But for the most part, we're just going to do the same strat. If he one-shots us, we'll just keep doing it over and over again until he misses enough for us to easily finish the fight. You know, this is essentially the way that I did the game like 5 years ago when I first started playing as well. It's so reliable on them actually missing that it doesn't scare me. Prankster, you do not scare me. But getting past some of the bosses does mean that you can get certain rewards, like gems for achievements and things like that. So that's another reason why progressing really quickly is a very good idea. It's getting those gems early, getting the hatchery and portal upgrades, super important. Also, I don't think I've mentioned it enough, but you really do need to add as many people as you possibly can, because opening gates, getting the friendship milestone rewards, all of that stuff, very important. And if you want to get everything free to play, that's how you do it. It's just get a lot of friends, get them sending you a lot of stuff. That is essentially how you want to be doing it. But I guess for now we'll just keep plodding along with various events, leveling up, and you know, continuing to progress on the map, which is most important thing on my list of thingies to do at the moment. So I've done another mini time skipperino, because essentially I just wait until I get the energy back. We do lots of fights, rinse and repeat. That is literally my life at the moment. But here we are against level 24 dragons, and they do know, or at least the storm dragon knows wind, which is very not good for our prairie dragon, obviously. So when you're progressing through the map, you will go through different elements of dragons. So you're going to go through energy dragons. There's an entire island dedicated to shadow dragons, an entire island dedicated to light dragons. So you really don't want all three of your main dragons being weak to a particular type of element when you're progressing on the map either, which is why legendaries and above are really good, because they have no weaknesses, right? We know that. But if you are using epics, or you're still stuck on commons, on uncommons like I am at the moment, it gets kind of risky when you go into fights against enemies that just are strong against you. And a lot of times those will be the fights where you will really struggle. So in those instances, those are the sorts of fights that you want to be hiring dragons for, which you will get to stages anyway where you're probably going to get really stuck on the map at times, but hiring your friends' dragons gets you out of that easy peasy. With portal upgrades, you can easily just keep hiring friends' dragons pretty much indefinitely until you finish off the map. Obviously that costs a lot of energy, so that's usually not necessarily recommended. You'd rather just be able to do the fights with your own dragons. But if you're super stuck and say you've made some really terrible decisions with your team, and you're sort of leveling up a new team now, but that means that you're going to run out of a lot of resources, it's fine to rely on your friends' dragons to at least keep taking you through the map. Because at no point do you ever have to stop progressing. Again, being able to hire up to mini is the main reason for that. After mini, you can't actually hire your friends' dragons anymore, and then it does become... It basically relies on you having a decent team to take on the last portion of the map. But you can actually finish the entirety of the map and the entirety of heroic mode with one singular, fully upgraded, fully enchanted dragon. Just one. It doesn't even have to be a super aggressive dragon, it can be a defensive one. So if we ever get to that point, you're going to see some cool fights where just one dragon decimates everything. Which was not much different from before, but being able to take on the whole of heroic mode like that, that's pretty cool. And we've also got to focus on rearranging our islands a bit now as well, because we are going to start running out of space very quickly. So making sure that we're being optimal with our space, also going to be very important for us. And damn these horse ads, why? Why do you do this to me, game? But, yeah, the general gist this time has been just around leveling up, collecting sigil stuff, getting achievements for sigils, or quests that involve sigils, because they give lots of XP as well. that has been the main focus for today. So we opened some more chests, got ourselves a red talon. Again, it's just fights, chess, dungeon, chess. Ah, over and over again. What do they say the definition of insanity is? Doing, yeah, but that's sort of DML in a nutshell. But, you know, these chests are just too good to pass up. So, whatever we get out of them, probably not going to get any divines, of course, but I'll take anything. Even if it's just 2 extra chests, it's worth it. Worth it. I would prefer the chance at getting a divine, of course, but if it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, of course. But here we are, we got these bad boys, we got this gold, more pieces of orange throat, but we've already got an orange throat in our inventory anyway. So, overall, lots and lots of dragons, and not really the space to put them in the hatchery. Because we really, really need a... Actually, I thought I did have orange throat. Never mind, I must be confusing that with my Windows account. Whoopsie. I guess I would appreciate an orange throat then. Fantastic. But yeah, we really need hatchery level 3. Just the amount of things that we're getting thrown, and we really don't want to be stuck with just 2 hatchery slots during castle events. Yeah, that doesn't sound optimal to me. Sounds kind of garbage to me, in fact. So, yeah, I guess we'll unlock the ruins as well, because we do get quests completed for unlocking each ruin. And plus, again, ruins give us lots of bonus gemmies and things like that, so also worth taking advantage of those. So we're level 24 here, and I'm pretty sure that after this next fight, we're going to be level 25. So, level 25, that's a big, big milestone. Why? Clans. Clans are kind of huge. Again, they're a thing that gives lots of dragons. They give you clan points, and plus... you know, just in general, everything related to clans gives you clan dragon boosters. You get the general clan dragon powers. So really, really important that you are always part of a clan, whether it's your own clan, someone else's clan. You might as well have Chip active. You know, Chip is the first dragon, and he takes, I believe it's 50 eggs to be hatched, which is 50 hours total, since each of Chip's eggs, I think, takes an hour to hatch. But when it does get unlocked, you will get a special clan dragon power, and he will help you out during clan events. So I want that as quickly as I possibly can. And then at level 30, you get to actually set up your own clans in exchange for a few million gold. So essentially, I'm going to join a clan immediately. And then, after that, as soon as I get to the right level, I'll start my own clan. So that's generally it. But there we go. Level 25, we get another farm, and we unlock clans. Nice. So let's do that now. So Clan Fortress are now open. Thank you, game. And then we get to watch an asteroid crash into the Earth, and it's actually a clan dragon egg, but they came from outer space. A little bit creepy. So, clan dragons, yeah, we've done this whole shebang before. So, we'll get open up to this screen that says clan search, and it gives us a bunch of clans, mostly low-level ones, but all of these are either closed or joined by request. You can choose when you make a clan whether it's a closed clan, a joined by request clan, or if it's just accept anyone. Obviously, the problem with accepting anyone is the fact that you could get some questionable individuals in there. You can also search by your clan's language, so you can have a global clan, an English clan, for example. You'll find a lot more clans under the global category, because it's like, now you've got to be English only. Even though most people on here will tend to speak English, it's just, there's more clans in the global category, because it's more open that way. So, you do have to pick a clan that you actually want to join, which it's going to be near impossible to tell a good clan when you first open up, you know, the clan page. It's just going to be luck of the draw as to whether you get a good clan or not. But, like I said, for me personally, you'll encounter a lot of really awful clans. So, I usually recommend for people to make their own. But if you're not someone that can post on social media, or say you don't post on social media, or say nobody really has seen you in game before, it might be a little bit difficult. But you can always join things like Discord servers, and you can post your clan on Facebook groups. You can post your clan on things like the forums. I think there's a section for it. It's just don't spam people, because then people might think that you're being a little bit needy, and then people will end up avoiding your clan. You gotta get that perfect medium where you're not harassing people, but you are still at least posting it out there so people know that it exists, if you get what I mean. You don't want to be that annoying Andre that just ends up annoying the whole community when you're actually trying to just get a new dragon. Ha! Battle 69! Oh, how funny. I'm so funny, aren't I? Anyway. Yeah, I mean, clans, very important. Join them as soon as they're available. Even if, you know, it seems like it might not be the best clan, just, why does it put me in this stupid minigame? Go away, ad. But even if it doesn't seem like the clan's necessarily going to be fantastic, doesn't really matter. Just, you know, go ahead, join one, see how it works. If it doesn't work out, make your own at level 30. I do like the fact that they sort of, you know, they introduce us to clans at level 25, and then 5 levels later they give you the choice to make your own. Because you will end up finding out that clans, for the most part, can be a little bit ugh. But then it gives you the opportunity to take things into your own hands and create your own clan that you want to make it into. So, with clans, the thing is, if you're not active in clans, you will get kicked out of a lot of clans as well. So you do need to be opening up that clan tab on the far right and pretty much doing quests all the time. I'm not doing it right now, in like what you're seeing at the minute, but generally speaking, if you're doing anything in game, say you open up your game, realistically, before you do breeding, before you collect anything, do literally anything in game, you should open up your clan tab and start a clan quest that's on there. So then you go and complete that clan quest, and then you finish that one, claim it, and then you go and do another clan quest. And a lot of the times, just basing your entire play session based on the clan quest will give you a lot more value out of what you're doing, because you get bonus clan points, which let you open up clan packs. And, you know, if you're in the middle of a clan event, then you'll get recipes, or you'll get sprites, for example. So, if you're not used to being in a clan, you should really just get into the habit of opening up the clan tab itself and starting a clan quest all the time. Just always ingrain it into your brain to do that. It will really, really help you out. So, that is the main thing I wanted to mention about clans. Again, I do get that some people just have no interest in clans, and like, really? I make my own clans purely for people that want to join them, but I'm not someone that's too over the top about clans, because, you know, I'm not someone that takes DML hyper-competitively seriously, because it's not actually a competitive game. Anyway, that's a complaint for another day altogether. But making a lot of friends in-game, and just adding people that might know a lot about the game in general, will probably help out a lot of newer players as well. Like people that can give you advice, people that will continue to gift you portal gems. Sounds like a good relationship to me. A good, friendly DML clanmate relationship. That's what I like to hear. But, you know, aside from that, more battles to be done, more arena fights to be done. And, you know, you will get clan quests that ask you to feed your dragons, or collect some food, or collect some gold, or do side quest battles. And sometimes it'll ask you to do like 8 side quest battles, and when you don't even have 8 energy, it's a little bit like, whoa, bro, that's gonna take me like 2 resets of energy. You okay there? So the clan quests that you want to see pop up are the ones like petting dragons, or if you've got higher level farms that have higher level food, then see the ones like collecting food. They're super easy. There's ones that ask you to do like 2 breeds of water dragons, and unless you've got 2 breeding dens active, that's going to take hours, so I usually don't tend to do those. But there are a couple of combos you can do to breed water dragons, but it just takes so long and it takes up the breeding den, so I'm not a fan of them. But then you've got Dragon Fury clan quests, which if you're going to do map fights anyway, with even leveled dragons against the enemies, you're probably going to end up using Dragon Fury, so just start up the Dragon Fury quest, and then go and use your regular energy on the portal map. So, you know, we got quite a lot unlocked today, and this is still day one of this account being active. It's been like, what, 8 hours since the account was started, where at level 25 we've gotten a clan. We've got at least a 3-element rare dragon. So you can do that in under half a day. Easily. And this is all free to play. Obviously, if you were someone that was buying starter bundles, or just buying an on-sale clan subscription, so that you could upgrade your hatchery, and then say you got a second breeding den, genuinely, you can progress in game so fast. Like, imagine that. You buy a level 3 hatchery upgrade at, like, level 15. You've got 2 breeding dens active. That would be insane. You could get to easily probably level 30 in one day. Or level 32, but... You know, this is free to play, as is the way most should play. Especially if you're a newer player. And, like, if this has been in under half a day of playtime. I don't think for free-to-play games, most people should invest money on their first day. Usually I'd say probably not even for their first week. And it's because when you first start playing a game, they set the timers to be super short so that you get nice and invested. And then like in DML, it's like we go from having 30-minute timers to then having 2-hour timers. And then suddenly we'll unlock more elements, and then it'll be a 6-hour breeding time, and then a 15-hour, and you realise, whoa, I can't actually just play this game for very long. So, you know, I would say, if you're someone that hasn't spent on DML yet, you say you're a brand new player, I'd say play the game for at least a week first, see where you get, see how fun you find it, and then decide whether you want to invest anything into speeding up process, because that's all that you should really be using gems and things like that for, to sort of speed up your overall game progress. And by that I don't mean skipping timers, because skipping timers is a waste of gems. It's the worst thing you can do. Don't speed up event timers like in boss challenge, and don't speed up egg timers with your gems, because getting portal upgrades with them, hatchery upgrades, unlocking legendary elements, infinitely more valuable. And a lot of people talk about the eternal fruit tree. Don't upgrade that. Just use the gems elsewhere. It's not worth it. Do not upgrade that fruit tree. Don't buy the fruit tree. You know, there was a time where I would say, you know, that seems like good value, but it's really not. You can get infinitely more value out of just playing the game the way it's intended. Eternal Fruit Tree's like the lazy man's way out. Someone that doesn't play the game optimally at all, just uses it sort of a cop-out for actually using the proper sort of methods in-game, or just, you know, doesn't log in very often, but then he can generate some food for free. You know, you'd only buy the fruit tree if you don't plan on really playing the game. So it's like, why would you buy the fruit tree? You know, it seems a little bit weird to me, but... You know, I'm sure some people have gotten good value out of things like fruit tree and played the game optimally, but... It's like boss dragons. They're not worth it. Unless you're logging in literally every half an hour, boss dragons just are not worth anything. I've gone 5.5 years over that without more than one boss dragon, and I didn't even need that one. You don't need boss dragons. Don't waste all your money on worthless things. That's not even a DML specific thing, just in general, in life. Don't buy useless things that you really don't need, that don't give you an actual, outright, proper benefit. Anyway, I think that's going to do us for now. I got my clans open. That's what I wanted for today. So, best of luck with everything you're doing in-game. We'll unlock this island very soon. And hopefully we'll keep leveling up. So, until the next time we come back with another rebirth. Good luck with all of your event progress. Have fun.